Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to another episode of Community Live Stream. This is Wednesday, I think, May 2nd, 2018. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. I am the ServiceNow guy with the red bow tie. You can follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn. I invite you to do that if you're so inclined. Thank you very much. We do this show every week on YouTube, every weekday where there's not technical issues on YouTube as well as Twitch. I invite you to subscribe to those so you're notified when the broadcast starts. We do this live, as I mentioned. A number of people join live. Thank you very much for joining. I suspect the alert will be coming out any second if you haven't already seen it. And if you do find this video helpful in some way or another, be sure to click the like button. I appreciate that as well. There's just a few more days left till Knowledge, our big conference. I'm getting there. This is crazy time, and not so much for me, but for many of the people around me, and I'm trying to help out wherever I can. All right, I am here to, speaking of help, I am here to help you not only get answers in our community, but figure out how I got those answers. This is sort of like Live Coding Happy Hour is to a demo. You get to see what goes on behind. What's the thought process? What's the exploration? What are some of the tips, and techniques? It's still 6 a.m. for me here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. And I don't know where it is or what it is for you, but I do this show every weekday, as I mentioned, at 1 p.m. UTC, so you can figure it out from there. Looks like I do have a bit of an issue with the Twitch stream. Let me see if I can rectify that. Well, I say something on autopilot. I have been doing ServiceNow for about 10 years. I was a customer for a couple of years before that. There we go. Looks like Twitch is back. And been an employee since 2010 in professional services and solution consulting, and now in marketing, doing technical stuff. It's odd because the more abstract my title gets, which doesn't seem very technical now. I do still have the word technical in my title. TPMM, the T is for technical. But the marketing part, you wouldn't expect to get any more technical, and it actually has. I found myself holding a soldering iron these past few months and putting together little gizmos and gadgets for IoT devices, and it has been a whole lot of fun. So if you would like to give a shout out, let me put the Twitch thing up there too in case you're inclined to go watch there. If you would like to give me a shout out on either Twitch or YouTube, I appreciate that. Let me know where you're from. Say hi. I see there's a few people out there watching now. I suspect more will come and go as we do this broadcast. And thank you very much for joining. If you're watching this afterwards, no harm there. I hope you learned something, and be sure to click the like button and subscribe, of course. If you've got a question about ServiceNow products, platform, that sort of thing, be sure to put it in the community. That way, the right people will see it. Use the right forum. That's my tip for the day. Use the correct forum. So if you've got a question about ITOM, put it in the ITOM's forum. If you've got a question about reporting, put it in the reporting. If you've got a question about your personal developer instance, which I'll talk about in just a second, be sure to put it in the instance help section so that the right people can get alerted. They'll see it when they go into the community. If you've got a developer question about scripting or the platform integrations, that's where my specialty lies. You can put that in the developer community. Not that I don't look at other areas, but the title often sets me off to, should I look at this or not? And that's pretty much the same methodology with any online community, any online forum, is you want to make sure it's in the right place. Otherwise, someone, not saying it happens a lot on this community, this is the best community ever, someone may say, this isn't really the right place to ask. And if you do ask a question, another community etiquette tip, only ask it once. If you put one in reporting and one in developer, it's tough for us to answer and know which one is which and keep the threads. There's no synchronization across these two separate records. And B, it makes it harder for other people to find later. So when they come along and go, hey, I've got a similar question about deleting records in a table, for example, and there's multiple answers from the same person, one may even be marked correct and one isn't, and it just gets totally confusing. So once and only once. If you comment, if you don't get an answer in a few days, you could always put a comment down there. It will percolate back up to the top of the most recently viewed list. So I did mention the personal developer instance. I will be using that a bit today. At developer.servicenow.com, you can go and get your own personal developer instance. This is an actual ServiceNow instance provisioned in our data center with all the bells and whistles. It does have some caveats. For example, it will go to sleep if you don't use it for half a day. I don't know exactly what it is. You can read the article on hibernation and retraction, so that if you don't use it for a certain number of days, I think it's 10 days, it will get reclaimed, and anything that you have done on that instance is gone. However, if you use a scoped app and you publish to GitHub, you can keep track of your apps there. I do that quite frequently because I don't know what I've built on my developer instance at this point. I think I've got about a dozen little test apps. Some I've made public, some not, that you can reload them from GitHub quite easily. You won't lose your work. So use that as sort of an offline storage. And the personal developer instance also allows you to turn on plugins that may cost money, like orchestration. You can go and explore it, find out, is it right for you? Do a proof of concept, do a demo for your organization before asking for thousands and thousands of dollars to turn that on. Hello, Balaji. Welcome to the community live stream. How do I edit a performance analytics dashboard? I do have admin role, but I don't see the lock option to make it editable. Again, if you're asking questions here and I answer them, if it's a quick question, I'll try to answer it in the community, but other people won't get the benefit of your question, and other people won't be able to help, especially if it goes beyond my skills. So please post that to the community if you get a chance. Sorry, I have to post a question here if not relevant to the agenda of the live session. I am not a performance analytics expert. The dashboards, I believe, require dashboard admin access, but if you say you've got admin and you don't see it, then there's something a little off. Maybe it's not an editable dashboard. I can take a look real quick. Let's go into my personal developer instance and look at, we'll start there. I'd normally start with the inbox, but let's see. Put that away for now. Get started with complementary performance analytics for incident management. Hey, that's new. Hadn't seen that before. If I go to dashboards down here under performance analytics, if you want a shortcut too, the quickest way to get to performance analytics menu option is just type YT, because it's the only thing that has YT next to it. At least that was the case a few months ago. Let's see if there's anything way down here. That should give me the entire, there's a REST and SOAP API analytics. So we now have another analytics. But that being said, let's take a look at the incident management. There's an editor button, and then there's the dashboard itself. So if I click on incident management, I should have this little right left bar over here that says configuration. The little gauges, the editor. I don't know, on my camera, this looks like I'm changing the tone and the background and the bass. And then I can get additional things here. So I can add a widget with the plus. I can configure the existing widgets as I hover over them and see that. If I go back to dashboards and click, this is my role. I'm sorry, this is my role, editor or owner. I'm curious as to what happens if I just click editor. It brings up the same thing. So check to see if you have editor listed there, that you can actually change it. If not, it may belong to somebody else. I don't understand why an admin would not have that access. So that is how you can modify your dashboards that way. And of course, you can add the tabs and all that good stuff. So see if that works out for you. I'm going to go back to the community. And I like to start with the unreplied questions. Let's see what's new and has come in. Something about the platform. There were a lot of notices I've seen a lot lately, more than usual, that people are having problems waking up their instance. Their personal developer instance has gone to sleep and they can't wake it up. So we may run into a few of those. I've got my herbal tea at the ready. Oh, it is perfect this morning. It's going to be a great day. Workflow script, how to leave current approvals and roll back reset outstanding approvals. that came up a little while ago about rollbacks. And the rollback activity doesn't do exactly what you would expect. It's like it reclaims the approvals. And I thought there was a flag on there. And I already answered that a few days ago. So another community etiquette tip, search the community before you post a question. It's likely something like that has been discussed before, especially around workflows and table management. Oops, I hit space. I apologize that. I know scrolling can make you a little seasick. I apologize about that. Catalog item, not honoring, no order now. Let's see what's happening. See if we have a description that can get us somewhere. I have a service portal catalog item with the following flag set. No quantity, no proceed checkout, no order now, no order, no cart. I look at the item in service portal and still see this, submit. According to this, the submit button, ngIf c.show order now button. No, the order now is not the same as submit. I'm going to go into my portal and see if I can get a picture of what order now actually is. So let's go to service portal. Not the configuration, we want the home. I'm going to take the generic one that came out of the box. I may not get a lot of questions answered, but I am going to explain what's going through my head as I do these things. And if I go to the service catalog, just clicking the button here up on top, and I want to find, there's my requests, my recent requests, popular items. Let's get I want something from the catalog. These are not catalog items. Let's go back to the home, because it should have a better representation if I say order something. Same page. Browse by categories. Let's do that. I know I have more stuff in the catalog than that. I could have searched. Let's get ourselves a mobile something. An S7, even though I got an S8 right next to me. This is the order now button. Okay, that is different than submit. The order now button is placed off to the left. It is, excuse me, right. Right. It is different than the submit button. What exactly are you, where exactly are you seeing the submit button? Is the submit button appearing on a record producer, perhaps? They didn't give us a whole lot of detail about what he's ordering. It says catalog item. Let me check something else. If we go into the catalog, for example, if I look at my service catalog and I click new safety issue, that's a record producer. And I will see a submit button there. So I'm going to answer that with, rather than the question, I do see submit on the button when I present a record producer. And just in case you're not familiar with that term, a record producer is a simple form for capturing a record directly to a table. It is not related to the whole request item, catalog task table. It is, when you see the demo for incident and it says something is broken, okay, that is a record producer. It presents 3 fields, usually with questions rather than just field labels. Instead of saying location, it says, where did this happen? Record producers are very, very helpful. I think I did that on Tech Now not too long ago. Record producers and interceptors was a topic. February? March? No, March was methodology. Tech Now is another web series that I do on a monthly basis with Craig Stepp and Dave Slusher. Been doing that for 5.5 years, although Craig and Dave have not been around for 5.5 years. Encourage you to go take a look. If you are new to the community, just search for Tech Now episode list in the search bar, and you will come up with this page, the Tech Now episode list, and we have all kinds of topics. Most of this, I hope, is evergreen. Some may be a little bit dated, but you can find yourself looking through a lot of things. If you want to go back and see some of the new features that came out in Eureka, we got that. But scripted REST APIs are in there, very helpful. Glide Ajax, very common, popular topic that comes up. Not only do I show how to do Glide Ajax, but return complex data values. If you've got a big array of records, you can push that back to the client with Glide Ajax using a JSON payload. And then our most recent one was last Thursday, faster integrations with the REST API Explorer. We've got 3 live sessions coming up at Knowledge on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 12:30 p.m. in the Developer Theater, which is in the Developer Hub in the main expo hall. Sounds like a Matryoshka doll in a way. It's inside this, inside that, inside that. And then June, we're going to be covering Guided Tour Designer, working on the details of that right now. The date keeps changing, so it's either the 13th or the 21st or somewhere in there, and the presenter may actually be changing as well. It's one of us on this team will be doing Guided Tour Designer. So that is, oops, I didn't mean to hit refresh on this page, apologize. Good morning to you if you're watching live on the Ustream or Twitch videos. Thank you for joining. This is Community Livestream. I'm Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow, going through the community and answering questions and explaining my answers of how I got where I'm going. Are they going to be recorded? The developer theater sessions are going to be recorded. That's what I'm told. All the other sessions, I don't know. I don't believe so. I don't think we have the resources to do over 100 different sessions, but the developer theater will be. I haven't gone through great detail in how they're recording. We cobbled something together last year for the 2 Tech Now sessions that we did, the 2 on building a meetup app. And that was, Dave Slusher volunteered his laptop to record the camera from one angle. I did a screen recording of another. And I've got some ideas of how I'd like to make that a little bit better. I don't know if that has been passed along. So I'm probably going to be bringing some additional equipment of my own to do some recording, at least merge in an extra camera angle or 2, because we had a wonderful crowd there last year. I don't know if you were there, Carolyn, but the video did not convey that. It was always the camera was on Chuck, Dave, Craig, and then a screenshot. And I wanted a picture of the crowd, and I suspect it will be even bigger this year. People are saying it's already signed up. If you find that the Tech Now sessions are full, or any other developer theater, if it starts with CCDT, go anyway. There's going to be standing room around. It's not a fixed size room. It is in the open expo hall, so you can go there. There's I don't know, 60 or 80 chairs that you can sit in, or mushrooms or whatever we're sitting on this year are going to be available. And then there's sort of a surrounding back area that you can stand in. And I think there are even some stand-up tables where you could rest your backpack or put your laptop up, that kind of thing. So feel free to show up to the developer theater sessions anytime, anywhere you like. Error while inserting record into incident table using the REST API Explorer. Oh, hey, I was just doing this morning, believe it or not. Not the incident table, but another table. I made a scripted REST API. Okay, using the REST API, when I'm trying to insert a record using the post method with different user not logged in as logged in user in Kingston, I'm getting a status of 400. The code I used was HTTPS my instance API table incident. Okay, is that a good endpoint? That's a good endpoint. I'm just looking at it, taking it apart line by line. So the first thing they do is set up a new REST message. This will be your request. Some people will abbreviate this as RM or SM, as whatever it happens to be. Request a set endpoint. They're saying the endpoint is my table. Is that all you need? Let me do this through the REST API Explorer and see if I can emulate what they got. So the REST API Explorer we just covered last week, very helpful tool. I am going to do a post to create a record, which is right here on the side, and give it the table. Incident. Pick our favorite table to pick on, incident. And down here in the payload, I need to add some stuff. What are they adding? They're saying the method is post, which I just did. They give their credentials, which is nice. So they do a set basic auth to authorize that user. They set the request header to accept JSON and content type JSON, and then put in the short description, follow me, and then execute it. The response I get is exception while reading request cannot decode Java IO string. So let's do that in the REST API Explorer. We'll just put in short description is follow me. Okay, and if we send that, do you realize you're going to modify something? Puts up an alert message. Yes, I do. I should get back a 201, which I did. 201 is record created. Very nice. I like seeing green. And up here, underneath the send button, I can view what script it would take to put that together. So let's take a look at what they did. Select the snippet, copy it. I'm going to bring that out to my text editor so we can all read it a little more legibly. There's something I was playing with last week. And even though you can't see this, I am going to say that is JavaScript, so my editor highlights it appropriately. Big screen, little font, doesn't work very well. That's why I have everything set at supersize, about 250%. So I'm not sure what that's doing up there. It looks very much like what they said, except for the credentials. No, my login and password is not admin. That's something that puts it, that the little script snippet puts in automatically. So please don't try and log into my instance with that. It won't work. You're not being sneaky and you're not being funny. Okay, so compare that with what they've got. Exception while reading request. This header has double quotes and that one has single quotes. Does that matter? Usually not. Interesting that our template chose to do it that way. This is all correct, yes. Backslashes look like they're in the right place to escape quotes. Yes. Request.execute, response.getBody. Huh. Exception while reading request. Let me look at the endpoint again one more time. Instance at servicenow.com, API now table incident. That sure sounds right. API now table incident. Endpoint method, user password, request header. Does it work from within the REST API Explorer? That's my first question. You mentioned the REST API Explorer. REST API Explorer, which is where I suspect you got this code. Did the record creation work when you tried it from the REST API Explorer? I'm not seeing anything that looks out of the ordinary. Abnormal. Okay. More questions. You know, I thought I had an audio issue yesterday because nothing sounded quite right. It happened when I was about to do podcast Sunday night, Monday, whatever it was. And I was listening kind of like a channel and a half. I was listening in both ears, but some of the audio was missing or garbled. So I spent a few minutes debugging the audio setup. Turns out that it's the little adapter that goes from the mini jack, this size thing, teeny weeny, to the 1/4-inch jack on the mixer. The little skinny jack just wasn't sitting in there quite right. But good news, I don't need a new mixer because this sucker is expensive. I inherited it with the house. I would not have bought something like this out of my own pocket. At least not at that point in my career. Maybe I hit refresh again. I didn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm still used to the old community we had 2.5 months ago where I could do that and it would stay where I put it. How did a test plan? We've got a couple things in the inbox coming up to the bottom of the hour. I'll get those in just a minute. How to export list of records with its attachments in Excel. What do you expect to do with the attachments in Excel? That's my first question. Okay. You're going to have an Excel file with what? Images in it? Request your suggestion how to export list of records with attachments in Excel format. The Excel should have the incident record details on a separate column for attachment as a downloaded file. Is this achievable? No, because it could make your Excel file really big and bloated. I'm not clear what your vision is. Vision/goal is for what to do with the attachments. Example, incident 00001 has 2 attachments. 1 to 20 megabyte Excel spreadsheet, 1, and let's just make something up, a 10 megabyte high-res image. Incident 00002 has 1 attachment, a 190K screenshot. Inc. 00003 has no attachments. First, you would end up with a very, very large Excel file, which nobody likes, in my opinion. Again, managing the files within the Excel. Here, just to note, this is not available out of the box. As it could lead to problems. I'm not going to lead all that. Let's see. Second, managing the files within Excel be troublesome. What is the underlying business objective? Why did someone ask for this? Understand what they're trying to do. And why. Help them understand conditions that could lead to problems. Like those explained above. That's often the case. If somebody says, hey, could I just get this with attachments in it? They may not be asking for it as a requirement. They're just asking as a point of interest. Very important to understand, is this a nice to have or a like to have? Morning, Kevin. Only 2 tech ones that Chuck did with the others are low code, no code. Right, that was that was the Tech Now stuff. The developer theater sessions are going to be presented. I know that we've talked about them as TED Talk style discussions, so that might be the reason why we're looking more into recording those. I don't know who's producing them. Something tells me I might be. Nobody's asked me yet, but Martin Barkley is the man on our team in charge of organizing everything developer theater related. And I don't know if he's got the means. It's either going to be me or our media group. But I seem to be closer to his sphere of control. So I'm happy to do it if that's what it comes down to. Bring your soundboard with you. You know, that's a two-man job just to lift this thing. And if I ever unwired it from this studio, it may never go back quite right the same way. I've shown you guys these pictures, right? Like that one. That's the mixer board. It's not going anywhere. It's built into this as part of the studio. I'm out of the chair. Help, help. And then there's a little different angle. Few minor changes since that picture was taken, but otherwise things are generally in the same place, and that's the rig. All right, back to this stuff. You know what? It's coffee break time. Let's talk about knowledge for just a little bit, since we were on the topic of what knowledge is, and we mentioned the Developer Theater and CreatorCon. Knowledge is our big conference that we do every year, and it is getting bigger every year, sort of like my kids. And I think it's almost as old as my kids. In fact, knowledge in some ways is one of my kids. It is the customer event for ServiceNow each year. This year we're holding it in Las Vegas in just a few short days. I will be there on Saturday. Pre-con training starts on Sunday, goes to Monday. The conference proper starts on Monday night, and then sessions are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. During that time, we also have a developer event, sort of a conference within a conference called CreatorCon. So Knowledge is the big conference. CreatorCon is the developer, admin, architect content, the deeper dive technical content within there. For example, if you go to Knowledge and attend a session on workflow, you will be dragging and dropping things onto the workflow. If you go to a CreatorCon session on workflow, you will be coding and creating those activities and actions that go on the workflow to help the person who went to Knowledge to drag and drop things. So there is a deeper technical content in CreatorCon. If you have the words developer, admin, architect, or something closely related in your title, I highly encourage you to go to your registration, if you haven't done this already, and check the checkbox that says CreatorCon. So you are entitled to go to those sessions. The open stuff like the Developer Theater, you can still do that. You can walk up, it's open. There's no badge reader going to happen. But if you want to get into the workshops, or you want to get into the breakout sessions that are part of CreatorCon, that deeper technical stuff, you have to have that checkbox, and it'll be on your endorsed badge. You'll also get some free swag, by the way. Everybody wants a t-shirt or a bag or what. I don't even know what the swag is. Lily hasn't told me specifically. Lily Lee being one of my coworkers. Don't know. So I wish I could give you more details there. But please check that checkbox. Even if you elect not to attend any CreatorCon sessions, you can still check that checkbox and have the ability to choose later if they're open. Do go and sign up. Go to Knowledge. If you've already signed up, please go to the Knowledge website you see there on your screen. It may direct you a couple times to some other site, but that's the starting place. Go to the content catalog and register for these sessions. They are filling up fast, very, very fast. Some of them are already booked. Some of the parties on Thursday night are already booked. So it's crazy that this thing is still a week away, and yet many of the sessions are fully booked. Some have been duplicated based on early demand, but I don't think there's going to be any triples or unless they decide to switch rooms around and put maybe my IoT session in a bigger room and say, great, now you can handle 200 instead of 100 or 300 instead of 100. That might be a problem because we only have a certain amount of devices for that lab. Bad example, but we'll go from there. Carolyn, sounds like I'm a little distracted by the chat. I apologize that. Carolyn, sounds like you might be getting into some recording or podcasting. I look forward to talking to you about that. Uh, just as a sideline, last year at this time, I was busy writing the third edition of Podcasting for Dummies. So yeah, I'm an author. If you've watched Live Coding Happy Hour, you may have noticed I don't have the green screen pulled down, but I do have a poster on the door behind me, Podcasting for Dummies, authored by T. Morris and Chuck Tomasi. There. That's the first time I think I've mentioned my book on here. So thank you very much. And let's get back to the community. Go again, register for those sessions if you haven't already. Back to the community. Let's see what has come in. Oh, I am so looking forward to seeing everybody next week. It is long overdue. I have wanderlust, which means I haven't traveled in a while. It's very rare that I go an entire quarter without traveling, and it has now been one quarter. There's a whole reason why that has happened, but I'm not going to get into it here. How do I encapsulate an Angular JS-based UI macro so that it works in Variable Editor? Oh my goodness. That's a pretty deep topic, and you're crossing the streams there with me. I'm not sure I want to take a look at that one, but I do want to take a look at it because I'm curious and I will subscribe. I created a UI macro and service portal widget using AngularJS and included them as part of the catalog item in a variable type macro. The widget works great. The UI macro works great in catalog item view. However, once catalog item is submitted and requested item is created, the UI macro breaks in the variable editor in the requested item. Uncaught error. That's a big old mess. Has anyone created a UI macro utilizing AngularJS versus Jelly that functions in the variable editor? If so, how did you encapsulate it? Robert, I do not know, but I am more than curious on that one. So I have subscribed to that question. Always a good thing to do. I encourage you, go into the community, and if something looks interesting, you go, hey, you know, that might be interesting. I might use that someday. It's a bit like I've been doing with electronics the last few weeks, is I get ideas in my head, and then I start thinking, you know, I need some resistors. So I'll go order a bunch of resistors. I could also use caps. So I'll go order some capacitors. And, oh, hey, look, photo cells are on sale. I'll grab some of those. I'm building up a war chest of electronic components. In some cases, I have ideas, and in some cases, I have no idea what I'll use them for. But that's what I encourage you to do with the knowledge that's in the community, so that you can use that in the future when it comes to me. Oh, I did see that. I saw somebody discussing that thing about Angular and UI macros, and maybe that's right for me right now. Maybe it's not. Okay, what do we have? Kingston chatbot, where do we start? The instance is offline, annotation error while redirecting to a table. I'm going to take a look at that one. That one's got my curiosity piqued. Instance unavailable, instance not working. Seem to have a theme here. How to detect radio button hovering on service catalog. New fields in customer scoped application, adding the U_ prefix. All right, this one's got me. When creating a new scoped application, newly added fields on a scoped application do not include the U_ prefix by default. Anyhow, recommended to add them? I don't. I don't. Who is this? Don't know what the name is. Set your display name on the community, please. I know handles rarely inform me who's talking. I don't use them. Never have, never liked them. For global apps, it makes sense to avoid conflict with the ServiceNow fields. Oops, ServiceNow fields. Example, you create, you due date, ServiceNow created due date. Since there is no chance of conflict in a scoped app, because you created it, the U_ isn't needed, and I don't feel like adding my fields manually just to have U underscore in there. There's no point. I know when I'm working on a scoped app, which I was doing this morning, yes, I did some development before I even got on the community, as crazy early as this may seem. May not seem early to you. I know when I'm working on a scoped app that I don't have to worry about when to use or not use U underscore prefixes. It's liberating in a way, at least to me. There we are, an opinion poll. No idea how you mark that correct. When somebody says, what are your thoughts on? So annotation error while redirecting to a table. We're trying to add our annotation on a table. And written some client scripts to hide those annotations based on the condition. When we check functionality by opening the record in list view from a table, it's successfully working. However, when we open that record from our ITM table, implemented UI action open table record, I'm losing details here quickly. It's throwing error. UI action code to redirect to a table record. So we've got GR task is USIR, opening a record on USIR, where the request item number is a sysID. If you find that record, then go to that record. Okay. Unchanged client script to hide annotations. Get the value of U status. We're doing DOM manipulation, which I frown upon immediately. And this is a big mess. Cannot read property, parent node, null function. Yeah, your first problem is DOM manipulation. And that doesn't appear to be an annotation. Okay, please advise. All right. You asked for advice? I'll give you advice. Okay, advice number 1. Avoid DOM manipulation. Advice number 2. Please state the business requirement around the need, the reason you feel the need to use a client script. Once we understand the underlying business requirement, that's actually a field message. We can help. The pink text under the field is a field message. You could consider showing it or hiding it. Hiding it using the G-form show field message. Is that what the name is? Let's go to the developer site because I can't remember every single method for every single class. Glide form is the proper name for G-form. And under the API, we find glide form here as a class. And over on the right, we will scroll down until we hit glide form show. My scroll bar is disappearing. Hopefully we'll get it before it disappears. No. I think it's because my font is so large. Set. Show error box. Show field MSG. And there is a corresponding hide field MSG. Not short for monosodium glutamate. Let's put a link in there. And OK. And a corresponding G-form hide field MSG when you need to. There we go. That ought to help. I may not be able to answer all the questions, but I can certainly try to help. Let's bring this back up. I do need to reload that page because it did say 2 things were in the inbox. Let's look in the inbox. I don't have any threads from the past that came up that would make good show content, so I'm just going to go live and do whatever I can here. think a couple of these were subscribed, followed. I didn't necessarily respond to them, but I'm curious to know what the answers are. Question originally was service catalog categories as card/tile view. They wanted to reverse what the categories are normally shown on the side, and then the items as cards. They wanted those reversed so that they could show the categories as cards and the items on the side. For Q1, it appears the categories utilize widgets SC categories. Then you click on and use, and I said, you could do this if you made your own widgets. Have a look at my article, service catalog categories as card tiles. Oh, this may be a duplicate. Let's go look at that. Lovely thing about the community is a lot of them reference community articles. And we come up with, I've seen a number of posts in the community asking for service portal widget that displays service catalog categories or subcategories in the card tile view. Hey, look at that. URL parameters, broken image. I like this text. I like how it's highlighted like that. That's nice. I don't know how she did that. Oh, it's sad though that all these images are broken. It might have come, when was this written? This may have come over from the old, no, created a day ago. I'm going to respond back to Nia. Can I put a comment on here? No, scroll down. Apologies. Scrolling. Looks like a lot of the images are broken. Hi, Nia. It looks like the images are missing. Let's start out with something nice. Love the URL highlighting. There. Great article. Yep. Super duper article if we had the images. Picture says 1,000 words. Okay, here's the answer from the ServiceNow team. Algorithms used for one-way and two-way encryption. So this is the, they were asking for what is the algorithms used when you store a password. There's one-way encryption where you can just store it. I'm not sure why that would be handy. And then two-way is I can store it and then read it so that I can compare it later or use it or decrypt it if I'm sending, say, basic authentication. And I said, reach out to support. It's not documented anywhere. And they say, here's the answer from the ServiceNow support team. Password 1 is one-way encryption, text field that stores passwords with one-way encryption. One-way encryption stores the password as a secure hash value that cannot be decrypted. It's using either of three types. Okay. Password 2 is two-way encrypted. The text field that stores the password is two-way encryption, and encryption stores the password as a secure encrypted password value that can be decrypted programmatically within the instance. You can use password 2 encryption. The encrypted texts are on forms, encrypted context. Length of the password must be at least 255 characters. It's using 256 AES. The encryption key used to encrypt the data. Leave this field blank to randomly generate a key based on desired type of encryption. Enter exact number of characters. 24 for three-way triple DES. AES 128 and AES, okay. Sounds like an answer, I guess. I'm not sure if that's the answer, but I think they got their own answer. Multiple choice on service portal not working. I'll take a look for $2. No, I'm just kidding. I'm on Service Portal on Istanbul release. I have multiple choice variables. When I select a checkbox on the multiple choice variable and scroll up and down the page, my selection gets deselected and disappears. Is this a known issue? And is there a fix for this? Okay, can you give me an example of where you're seeing this? As a comparison, can you provide details where you are seeing this? I'm assuming it's a catalog item. But cannot be sure. Screenshots are appreciated. Thanks. You want to know the 5 questions you need when you want to get help from somebody? You specify what happened, what you expected to happen, any screenshots, any error messages, and just details around that can really help. What is the requirement? What is the underlying context? What is the objective you're trying to do? Gives us a lot more information to build on. Do you need to include 600 lines of code? Probably not. My brain shuts down after about 10. If we ask for it, we'll ask for it. If we need it, we'll ask for it. Hey, Steve. No, I'm not an hour early. I went online at 1 p.m. UTC. I have been going for 50 minutes. Someone forget to set their clock? See, I've even got my binary clock telling me what time it is. Right here on the desk. It is 6:51. You can read that. And some odd seconds. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 digits for the number. Because if you try to read a number like 57 seconds and you're using 5 bits, it's kind of nasty. So I won't do that. Actually, I think you need 6 bits to do 59. Because 16 would be the 5th bit. Or excuse me, yeah, need 6 bits to do 30 bits. Anyway, my brain knows what it wants. My mouth isn't saying it right. My mouth wants more tea. Let's look for another new question to ask or answer. Instance not running. Problems with my personal developer instance. Boy, those personal developer instance people are going to have a wonderful day today. My brain is broken. I had you set at... I know how it goes, Steve. I've got a podcast that does a stream, and it's supposed to be on Monday night, so my calendar keeps saying, hey, it's Monday, 7 p.m., and I go and look, and then they say, no, we're not going till Tuesday. Well, Tuesdays I usually have an evening commitment, so I can't watch. Even though they say we do this every week on Monday night on the show. But you go to the webpage and it says Tuesday. Even more confusing was the countdown on Monday said, we'll be broadcasting in 1 day. But the text said Thursday. So I called him out. I said, what day is it? And of course, last night I missed it. So let me keep going to see what I can see. Did anything come in a few hours ago? Where were we? Service portal, show hide widgets. Sounds like it might be plausible. Something I can help with. I have 3 pages in Portal that are using the same widgets. I place the widgets in the sccat item page. The problem is that when I click a link from sccat item page to go to the sccat item producer page, the same widgets are still there. I have a requirement to hide the widgets on the producer page. If I hide the widget on sccat item producer page, it hides them on sccat item page. I don't know what the relationship between those 2 tables is. Let's do a little exploration. I don't know that I'll get to an answer. We are looking at the cat item page here. I'm looking at the URL, by the way. ID equals sccat item. And I can't see that very well, if at all. If I start at the cat item, and I am currently looking at the SC home page. My request, if I look at an open request, is the SC request page. I'm just exploring pages to see what the URL turns up. Down here, if I open my recent items, I get the sccat item page. Okay, now I'm confused because, whoa, we were playing with the REST API Explorer. Let's go to service portal pages. What is the sccat? Start there. See, I don't see a producer page. Where did the producer page come from? That was the old question. Where'd it go? Interesting. Now I probably have two of these tabs open. Yes, I do. Never mind. Brain freeze. Okay, I don't see a page called SC cat item producer out of the box. When looking under service portal, service portal pages. Is this something you or your company created either independently or with the help of a partner? Question mark. I seem to have a lot of questions today. All right. Is it knowledge time yet? Instance unavailable. How to create show more and show less link to display and hide a paragraph information in service portal. We need a service portal forum. I already suggested it in the member feedback. So if you agree with that, go to the member feedback forum and upvote that one. Can you please wake up instance dev 34085? Tabular way of data representation in performance analytics. Service catalog, save fields, issue related to slush bucket, how to create if RE forward first time to instance, then create. Do what now? Let's see if we can get an example out of this. Sounds like an inbound action thing. Can anyone tell me the logic or sample script required that says below, when any send mail to instance and if it will contain a re or forward, then it will check into incident and any ticket already created or not. If not, then it will create a ticket. Second one, if again, second time, send forward or re-email, then to ignore it. What I did till now I created functionality which says if new to instance, then create instance, and if it will contain RE and forward, it will not create any incident. Okay, I invite you to take a look at inbound email actions to understand better when a record is created or updated. It doesn't have anything to do with the re and forward. It has to do with the watermark on the bottom of the message. Or lacking a watermark, it uses the subject line to try and parse the record, display value to understand which record to update. All right, couple of links we need to provide. One is inbound email action. Copy that address, paste that in. It's probably going to be our last one. Link that. I've gone to doing inline links lately rather than reference links at the bottom, since there's no additional extra effort. Unless, of course, I have a macro for these things already. We also mentioned watermarks. Let's get watermark information. Email watermark. Hide email watermarks globally. Watermarks on notification emails. That's the one I want. Put that in there. Watermark. Watermark, paste, open in a new window, and away we go. All right, that takes us to the top of the hour. Thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming around. I'm going to do the big head at the end. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you are going to Knowledge, check that checkbox that says CreatorCon so that you get that additional content for the technical developers, admins, architects, whether you're enterprise architect, technical architect, that kind of thing. Get in there, check that checkbox. And I really, really look forward to seeing you in just a few short days in Las Vegas. Until then, hope you learned something. Like the video if you did. If you learned something outside of this video, thank you very much. Go share it with somebody and be helpful. And I will see you tomorrow.